Is this proper consultation now?
This is me as a resident
Right,
talking to you,
there is a
about.
difference between consultation and
No,
proper consultation.
absolutely not. This is not part of any form of consultation unless you want it to be.
We don't want you to take over the meeting.
No, you've invited me to come up here, and I want to say just three things really. Okay, the first one is Torbay Council owns 400 buildings. It has a £50 million backlog, and it spends £1 million a year on its maintenance. Inflation on its maintenance liability, right, it's higher than the amount of money we spend on those assets.
Princess Gardens.
We are talking about Princess Gardens. The backlog maintenance on Princess Gardens is about £10 million. Okay. Now I said in February and in May we're exploring a number of options, all right, on how we went about repairing Princess Prom. I said we could do nothing. All right, we could look to the public sector to fund it,
want to do nothing.
or we could look to the private public sector and do a sort of joint arrangement where there's a little bit of private investment and a lot of public investment, or any combination of the two, or we went to the private sector. Now, in the next 4 to 6 weeks, I will have to write a report to Council setting out what the options are, what the level of feedback is, okay? So we are doing that consultation, and I have learned from Babacom, although I was not personally responsible, I have learned from the process, okay? So we've had 2 public meetings in February, in May. There will certainly be more public meetings, and then a report will go to Council. So firstly, all right, we are doing the consultation, all right, as we speak, we're going through the consultation. Right. Now, what I've heard this afternoon, is a lot of people say they don't want any development, but you haven't told me what you do want. You haven't told me. Tell me.
It's a public space.
I invited this man to the stage, and I'm just saying to him, thank you very much for showing yourself, Steve. And any other councillor that's here, thank you for coming, because I tell you what, you're the very people that should and deserve to hear our words.
I'm a family man, we're born in the town. There's nothing in this town for the kids to go to. They're home in the streets.
James, can you get back to consent?
All right, the most important thing that I had to say anyway, I'm going to disappear. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for coming. That's the main thing. You've got off your bums. Thank you. Steve Parrott got up and spoke because he doesn't want us to say that, because consent is law. Consent is law. Consent is law. Consent is law. It's not just complaining. It's not just objecting. We're talking about the law. And I got a funny feeling, besides Freemasonry going on, there is fraud going on. I'm sorry, but I think there is. All right? So let's not be scared. Let's take up a wonderful saying, and let's do it for a change instead of tapping our feet, and power to the people.
Yes.
Thank you.
Just to make sure that we understand what's happening here.
Could you introduce yourself?
Yes, sorry. I'm Bev Draper. I've got a commercial lease on the marina. And first of all, I'm going to tell you about democracy and how it really works. I'm pleased there's councillors here to explain. This goes back to how the council actually works. On the 19th of April in 2008, a development on the marina was proposed. It was advertised in the Herald Express on the 19th with 28 days public consultation. The plans were available for inspection at the Harbour Master's office, except when I went there they could not be found. I sent a letter that came back saying, sorry about that, that was about the 11th of May. Could you please put in your observations by the 25th of May? Please let me know what's going on. The reality, the contract advertised on the 19th of April was signed on the 30th of April, effective 1st of May. That's your 28 days public consultation.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Parrott said, well, I'm Alan Griffey, and I am a member of Elliot Perkins Community Cooperative Group. And you can join also if you wish to sign a sheet at the back of the hall. Steve Parrott asked, have we got any ideas? Well, I'm sure we've all got lots of ideas on possibly improving Torbay. A lady, as I came in today, she said to me, the pavilion, they had a wonderful ice skating rink there 20 or so years ago. The children absolutely loved it. It was a great success, but it closed. So all that immediately came into my mind is it possible that the council, or maybe we can lobby our MP, Adrian Sanders, to lobby the government that if there is a socially improving facility in the town, like an ice skating rink, it could be gently subsidised by the council to stop it going to the wall, because it's not only making money but showing a profit, but it's also providing something for the community. Anyway, that was just a thought. So that's just in the last 10 minutes, and so I'm sure that we've all got lots of ideas that we can put to Steve, rather than despoiling Princess Gardens. I won't speak for long because it's gone on, probably all the talk's gone on a bit too long, so I'll just rattle this out. I hear the local press are here. It would be nice to think that we'll get a slightly more balanced report in the Herald Express than we did today. When they implied that this meeting had been cancelled. Recently, up in St Mary Church, 2 ladies approached me. What are you going to do about this? And that was a few months ago. Local people are quite outraged. Another lady, I don't know, is this jumping a bit? Another lady approached me on the seafront, saying I should think all of Torquay will be against this, and this was 6 months ago. Our petition on the seafront proves her prediction. All of Torquay are against it, or near enough. 2,000 signers against developing the harbour side. In the interest of democracy, we have a form for anyone who wishes to sign in favour of the building. So far we have 10 signers or thereabouts.
And you kept that under the table so it wasn't visible for those walking past?
Not while I was there, madam.
Well, it was when someone that...
Well, they need their knuckles rapping. Yes, right. A gentleman called John Lennon was mentioned earlier. A gentleman called John Lennon came along, or he said he was called John Lennon, and he signed the one in favour of the development, in favour of building the flats. And he said to me, gentleman happened to come from Australia, he may be here today. He said to me, he said, what have you got along there on the front? He said, you've got a lot of benches with the names of dead people on them. He said, and on them you've got sat people waiting to die. That's the kind of intelligence that do not respect the beauty of the seafront and the memories that are there. Torbay seafront is becoming more and more exclusive. When my nephew was down here recently, I was wandering down a slipway towards some boats, and he said, Uncle, come out of there, you're not allowed in there. And I said, why is that? He said, that's the marina, the gates are shutting. I was shut out of the harbour that we've all grown up with. Now, I know there are people in favour of the marina. I personally don't like anything that's gated from the people. Somebody said, you let people wander along those bollards, they'll be pinching out board motors, God knows what. We have cars in our streets worth probably a quarter of what those ships are worth, and they're not vandalised and scratched. Some are, I agree, but generally speaking, in the streets, young people respect the cars and things like that, so why not in a marina? Why should not people have access, the ordinary people, to wandering along and looking at the boats and admiring them? The site of the marina, incidentally, the fact that this brings beauty to the town, site of the marina coming over Livermead Hill, just before the Livermead Cliff Hotel along the way here. The sun caught it, and to my imagination it looked like a car scrapyard. I didn't think it added much to the harbour side, whereas we're told it does. All the mock-ups in the Herald Express, local newspaper, show a view of the flats from the seaside. Imagine, if you will, walking along Torbay Road and trying to view the harbour from the roadside. All you will see is the back of flats. The Torbay Council of the late 19th century had the taste and foresight to create a green buffer zone
between the hotels and the sea where people could promenade and relax. Newquay hasn't got it. You glimpse the sea between hotels. Let's not spoil it.